The People First podcast is a show presented by people with learning disabilities for our friends and community. We talk about issues that are important to us and interview interesting people to find out new information. This is our way to make a difference and have our voices heard.
Hello and welcome to the People First. Today we are speaking to another great local organiser called Mind the Gap. We are excited to learn more and share their work with our listeners. Welcome to the show.
Could you introduce yourself and explain your job role, please?
Yep, so my name's Paul Wilshaw. I am from Mind the Gap theatre company, and my job role is engagement and advocacy worker. So I engage with a lot of people, talk about the work that the company does, and try and talk to organisations as well as directors, producers, and explain why learning disabled people should have roles in the arts.
Who are Mind the Gap?
So Mind the Gap is England's leading learning disability theatre and live arts company. We're based in at the Silk Warehouse in Patriot Street in Bradford. And the company's been going since 1988, so in 2028 it will be our 40th year anniversary. So, and the company was founded by Tim Wheeler and Susan Brown, who created it because they saw that opportunities for learning disabled people and people with autism were not happening in the sector. We basically had around 8 people, and now we're in a company of over 80 people will walk through our doors each week, so on our courses.
What kind of things do you do at Mind the Gap?
So Mind the Gap have different courses that we do. So we have our Arts Academy, which is our one-day courses for people that want to do music, dance and theatre, and they happen on different days of the week. So you could do, let's say, music and dance, but you could just want to do one of those topics, and that's absolutely fine. But we also have our 3-year course that we have, which is a Level 4 course in the same for performing arts, so music, dance and theatre. But that's a Level 4 accredited course by York St John's University. And what that basically means is it's the same level as what you would get at a university. At university they would do the course over a 1-year period, whereas we've been able to spread it over a 3-year period for our students. And it's a very unique and it's the only course like this in the whole of the UK. So we are very proud of this.
Can anyone with a learning disabilities join Mind the Gap? So
you have to be of the age of 18 plus, and we do have a youth theatre that happens on a Saturday. All our these 2 courses you have to pay for, so I do want to make that clear. You would have to talk to your local council because there's different funding around how much you have to pay the company. But anyone can join if they're 18 plus and has a learning disability or autism.
What different shows have you done at Mind the Gap?
So our latest show that we done was a show called The Invite, which was at the Beacon, which was a pop-up theatre at Lister Park in Bradford, and basically it was our artist stories, but it was set in this pub that was getting closed down. It was about a party, a surprise party that was happening, and you got to listen to all the people's stories. But we do shows that are massive as well. So our biggest ever show that we done was a show called Sarah, which was part of a 4-year project that we created around Daughters of Fortune, which was around parenthood and learning disabilities. And that had, we performed that in Halifax at the Peace Hall, and we also performed that down in London. And the baby, if anyone of you saw it, was the size of a double-decker bus. And that's because the topic of learning disability and parenthood is so vast and so massive. And in each show, we had 2,000 people turned up. We were working with the local community in Halifax, and we had a company from Newcastle who had quilted a blanket for the baby, and we got to sofa surf this over the audience, which was just amazing to see this blanket that was just going over 2,000 audience members.
Did you do something at Square Chapel?
Not at, we have worked with Square Chapel before on projects, but this one was actually in the Peace Hall, so in the actual square. So we done this in 2018, 2019. I was the intern assistant producer for this show. And we had such an interesting time because it was the summer, which was absolutely sweltering hot, and we were performing and doing all this stuff. We had a situation called Pumageddon, which was literally the baby had done a giant, you know what babies do, everyone, so I'm not even going to go there. But it was, we had biohazard cleaners in it, we had an army tank in it. It was just this massive production with brilliant organisations, an organisation called Walk the Plank in Manchester. We had another company called Emerging Exit Arts, which were great. There's so many organisations that I'm sorry if I've missed. I know I've missed people out, but it was just a great show. But we've also done shows like Leave the Light On For Me, and Birdie. So shows, we have done outdoor shows, we do indoor shows. So we do a vast array of shows. We also do an academy showcase and a one-day showcases for our arts academy every year. And that's an opportunity for our artists and our performers to actually work with an audience, basically.
We had the summer party at the Beacon when it first opened in Keighley.
Because it travelled around, that's why
Yeah.
Mind the Gap did some work with it in Bradford.
Yeah.
Because it popped up in different places.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about the baby thing. That's in Halifax Centre.
Yes, that was at the Peace Hall, but we also had done other projects along that, which I haven't mentioned actually, so if it's okay, Oliver, can I mention that?
Yeah.
So we had done a piece of forum theatre, which basically is, we were talking to counsellors, but also nurses and doctors, and the show's called Anna. So all the shows that we had done actually had women's names. So Anna, which was our foreign theatre piece. We done a show up in the Edinburgh Fringe Festival called Mia, and that was for a 3-week run in Edinburgh Fringe Festival, which is a massive festival that I absolutely love. Then we had our project called Sarah, which was the Big Baby project, and we also done a whole book of stories from learning disabled parents called Page. So all of this was taken from lived experiences of parents with learning disabilities. And the reason why we had done this project was that we found out that one of our artist sisters was actually going through an assessment that learning disabled parents have to take, and there's like over 300, and I think it's something like 360 questions that a learning disabled person has to take, and the questions are so varied and we didn't know this information when we heard about it. We were like, but why do you need to take a test to show that you're a good parent? Like, is it like non-disabled parents don't have to do this, so why do learning disabled parents have to do it? One of our major goals here was not to say it was wrong or it was right. We just wanted to get the message out there that this is happening, and see what the general public was thinking about this topic. So yeah, it was a massive thing for us as a company to do.
It was. It's a mind-blowing as well, wasn't it?
It was definitely mind-blowing. I mean, like I said about the weather, it was up here in Halifax, it was beautiful, it was sunny, we were having to get our artists ice creams and lollipops. When we got down to London, torrential downpour. Basically our tent where all our artists were the restroom got flooded. So we were having brooms and we were sweeping out all this water at the time.
That took a while of water to get out, will it?
It was just so weird of how different it was from
the
sunny weather to the torrential downpour, and where we were performing as well, because we were performing outside of I think it was the London War Museum, which was also a hospital and a park called Mary Geraldine Hensworth Park in London. But it was also a hospital. We performed it on grass. So with the torrential downpour, we had to get the army tank over. So we had to find out solutions for that issue. So, but that's a day of Mind the Gap, is that nothing ever is the same.
It is all the same in Mind the Gap, aren't they?
And also, your time, like, for the summer music and stuff, like your afternoon is the evening.
So we perform. Our company works from 10 o'clock till 3 o'clock. That's our period of time. If there's a show or anything like that, then shows are usually around the 7 o'clock, 7:30 mark. So, but yeah, during academy time, during the time period, it's 10 o'clock till 3 o'clock.
Like also like earlier afternoon or evening, same time?
So we don't do anything at the moment around later on in the evening, but we do activities. So there is activities, one-off things that we do as a company that could run into later on. But we also do lend our studios out to organisations. And so, yeah.
Thank you very much. In the social part of Mind the Gap.
So yes, there is a social part. So we have a thing called Free Flow and Social Club. And our Free Flow is 2 hours of basically just moving your bodies, getting a bit active, meeting people and seeing people. And our Social Club actually says what it is on the tin. So they there is a little project that they are working on at the moment. I don't know much about it, but we do have a social club, and those two activities are on a Wednesday from 10 till 3. So you can come just for free flow, or you could come for social club. That's 3 activities. But we also have an arts club on a Thursday, which is run by a brilliant artist called Yaya, and that's done at Equalities Together, which is just down the road from Mind the Gap. So it's literally a 2-minute walk away from Mind the Gap.
And also, it's a very good story to explain everything.
Why is it important that people with a learning disability have the chance to act?
That's a really good question, and something that Mind the Gap and me personally, we really want to show that having a learning disability does not stop you from doing what you want to do. The opportunities for learning disabled people to act, unfortunately, is scarce because there is a fear. There's a fear that learning disabled people are not going to be able to cope, that they don't know what to do. They are worried about they're going to get the language wrong. And this is something that we try as a company to always disprove. Personally, for me, I've been advocating for more learning disabled people to be on our stages, but also backstage, working on the tech, advocating for other learning disabled people, being in front of house. These are the opportunities that should be created and shouldn't be seen as a fear, but should be seen positively by everyone. I mean, you guys are all performing in a different way. You're all doing this podcast. That is performing. You are being yourselves, but you're also showing everyone what you can do. That's performance in itself. And for me, that's important. Why shouldn't we be doing what we actually are all able to do? So, I think there is a nervousness around getting stuff wrong. But companies like Mind the Gap, companies like Dark Horse, which are based in Huddersfield, and there's so many brilliant companies that are showing what learning disabled people and people with autism can do. Keithley, you guys, you're doing exactly the same. You're proving what we can do. And we just need more voices. We need our voices out there. We need our stories to be told. When our stories get told, people will listen because it happens in soaps. How many of you watch Emma Dowan's Coronation Street?
Good question. Because I've actually been to the Emmerdale, and I had my photo took with Paddy.
Oh, brilliant. So the whole point of that is that for me, it's our stories should be told in those soaps, no matter what, and it should be performed by learning disabled people. If it's your story, why aren't learning disabled people or people with disabilities able to tell our stories? Also, but we need to start writing our stories. We need to have the courage to actually say, this is our lives. But also, we don't always have to be political. We don't always have to be like, oh, this is wrong and we've got to fight everything. No, why can't we just have a story about a learning disabled person being in love, but not, and stuff like that, or a person that just goes to a shop. You know, it's everyday life is like, you see Tracy Barlow running a flower shop. Why can't that be a person with a learning disability running a flower shop or running a cafe? You know, you've got Liam Burstow in there, who plays Alex Warner in Coronation Street. Why can't he own the cafe soon? I just want to change the narratives of what people can do, and because when other people see it, and when the media stops making out that we are a burden on society, that is when we will be able to prove what we can do for society. And we all pay our taxes. When this is one thing that I really have big problems with, and I'm going off track, and we can cut this from this podcast if needs be. But my issue is that we all pay our taxes. We all are working, and we're all volunteering. It doesn't matter. We're people. We don't need to be a label. We're people through and through. We all have our own rubbish. We all have our own successes. So just let's be a person.
Absolutely.
My secret also.
What is your favourite part of working at Mind the Gap?
I think my favourite part of working at Mind the Gap is no one day is the same, which is so true. And the staff make it, and the artists make it. I'm not going to say we're a family, because I think that gets generically used so much. Sorry, actually no, let me get that right, because that was jargon language, and I have a big problem using jargon language. So I'm going to change that, actually. So sorry, listeners, to that. I think people use that saying so much, and it might be true, and I hope it is for a lot of people, but I think that the staff and the artists and the people that make the company treat you with the respect and the honesty that you need, and that's important.
What are Mind the Gap plans for 2026?
So our plans as such is always ongoing. 2025 was a big year for the company and with the work that we were doing. So in theatre, sometimes you don't have projects or we don't have shows. We have some stuff going in the background at the moment, which when we'll be able to shout about when we're on social media soon. But we do have our Academy showcase coming up in June, July time. And that's also for our Arts Academy course, which is our one-day courses, but also our Academy course, which will be having their showcase over at York St John's University. So, yeah, like I said, 2026, we're quieting down our plans because we're hoping for 2027 that it'll be a show that will be going on tour. Some of our artists have got their own projects that they are creating, and they are going on tour at the moment. So we've got a person called Joanne Haynes who is doing a show that is for 4 to 11-year-olds called Dancing with Colours. As she facilitates this show, working with a brilliant team. We also have a show from Jess Colborne, who is doing his own show called The Lighthouse, which had its opening in November of 2025. So there's stuff going on behind the scenes, and our artists are working on projects, but there's a lot of things happening that I can't give any news away yet about.
And also for the young people working for every month or 1 week.
So our youth theatre is on a Saturday, and that is for people 11 to 18-year-olds. And what our hope with that is that there's different topics that they do each term. So that's one thing I also mention is we run the company at the same time as what a school runs it. So we have 3 terms, and our academy will have the same time off as like the Easter holidays and the summer holidays. They have the same time period off at the same time.
If someone was interested in joining Mind the Gap or wanted to learn more, how can they get more information?
Yep, so you can go onto our website, which is www.mind-the-gap.org.uk. You can get in contact with the company at arts@mind-the-gap.org.uk, or you can ring us up. I'm not saying that everyone will be able to talk straight away, but I think my major shout is go onto our website, but also we do taster sessions, so you could contact us and say you want to come in and just look around the building, or come in for a taster session. We're always up for that. We do host open days, so and I know that social media is not for everyone, so it's also us going out to organisations and people and just saying, we can come in and have a chat with you. So if you ever just want to say that you want us to come in and have a chat, I personally won't have a problem doing that for the company. And I'm sure that my other colleagues won't either. So
that's all the time we have for today. We would like to say a big thank you, Paul, for joining us on the show today. We hope the visits to the podcast have been fun. Do you have anything else you would like to say before we end the show?
I would like to say thank you everyone for letting me be on your podcast. It's been great. To the listeners, please come and see Mind the Gap shows. Please come and see other learn disabled company shows as well. We need the audiences, and we need to support each other in the work that we're all doing. So, thank you for having me, and goodbye.
Thank you very much, Paul, for coming into the podcast.
If you enjoyed, don't forget to find us on social media to find out more about what we do and our coming interviews. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, X and Instagram by searching for for People First podcast. Thanks again for listening, and we will see you next time.